an absolute honor to join all of you alongside our First Lady and Governor, Devereaux leadership, Together Georgia, my agency colleagues. I can see several agency heads here, board members, commission members. It's just unbelievable to see all of you that were willing to come down here and make the trek to see this beautiful facility and celebrate Grace's Place, a brand new 24-bed facility to serve adolescent survivors of sexual exploitation and trafficking. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the governor's office staff for their support along the way, and OPB to make sure that this became a reality. Today's ceremony represents a multi-year effort to bring another piece of First Lady Marty Kemp's strategic vision to life. That Georgia will not only put an end to human trafficking in the state, but we will also deliver the right services, treatment, and support to survivors of all ages and backgrounds. And that fight continues, and there's certainly no fiercer ally than our First Lady Marty Kemp. Today would have been impossible without her efforts, the governor's support, and significant state investment from many agencies and partners. I'm going to absolutely forget someone, but please know that we recognize this was a interagency, public-private partnership all around. But the Department of Juvenile Justice, Georgia Building Authority, Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, staff within my own agency, Gwinnett County Public Schools, several nonprofit partners, Mosaic, CACs in general, Devereaux certainly, a national organization dedicated to serving vulnerable children. And to everyone here today representing the people involved in this project, thank you just does not properly convey our gratitude, but especially to Gwen Skinner and Mary Esposito, who I've lost in the crowd at the moment. We could not have done this without them, and thank you to their leadership. We applaud you for jumping into the fray to literally save and heal Georgia's children. Although Juanita Stedman with Together Georgia can't be here today, she too deserves a huge shout out for the energy that she brought to this project to help us all reach a deal and get this plan in motion. And in her absence, I believe several of her colleagues are here, so thank you. Unfortunately, DJJ Commissioner Shawanda Reynolds-Cobb couldn't join us today, but she has been involved in this from the very beginning. I remember coming out here to tour before the prior building was torn down, and she was here and she was involved in every single step, and I know that even though she's not present, she is still celebrating. Now, in accordance with comprehensive state licensing rules and funded by state dollars appropriated to the Safe Harbor Commission, with bipartisan legislative support, Grace's Place is a 24-bed facility that will offer housing and transitional living, mental health counseling, substance abuse treatment, education, medical services, and more to survivors of exploitation and trafficking in a secure, therapeutic environment with the right care and the right coordination as they start a new chapter. As the First Lady and Governor continue to lead unprecedented state investment and policy to end trafficking in Georgia, this facility will meet an immediate need for children and young adults in foster care who desperately need this level of security and wraparound support. Because the truth is that survivors of exploitation and trafficking often reach us with needs that we struggle to meet. Right now, there are 10,276 children and young adults in DFACS custody. For calendar year 2023, 66 of those had confirmed CSEC history. Now that's just confirmed. You can imagine that there are hundreds more that we have suspicions of that history and that trauma in their life. And already we're looking at 46 children with confirmed CSEC history this year. I pulled a report just to get an idea of the complaints that we received to Child Protective Services in the first 3 days of this month, and we'd already had 70 complaints where sexual servitude was the reason that they called us to investigate. So these children and young adults have faced unspeakable horrors, and They may not have strong support systems, and far too often, even their loved ones and friends struggle to comprehend how this could have happened. They are reeling from physical and mental abuse. They may fear for their lives. They may try to return to their tormentors. But Grace's Place strikes the right balance for those cases where going back home or to a foster or group home just isn't enough to mend their wounds and keep them safe. So you can see, with these objectives in mind, the First Lady poured her heart and soul into this project from start to finish. And together we rolled up our sleeves and went to work for Georgia's most vulnerable children. And this building literally represents real, effective leadership and hope. So today is an occasion that I will treasure. This beautiful facility will bring so much good into countless young lives when they need it most. And on a day like today, I am reminded how immensely blessed we are to have the First family at the helm, who've led the state through rough waters, always focused on doing the right thing, and because of that strength, Georgia continues to shine. So it's my honor to introduce my boss and Georgia's 83rd Governor, Brian Kemp.
Well, thank you all very much. Well, thank you, Candace, for that. We just appreciate what you and all your team's doing every day. Speaking of rough waters, it is tough duty over there. There's more work to do, but y'all made great progress, and we're very proud of that. I want to thank Allison and Commissioner Cobb. I'm sorry she's under the weather, but it has been a rough day out there, folks. And I just, before I introduce our featured speaker today, I just wanted to mention something about the weather. I know it's been a rough string of storms coming through, and it was just reported that there was a loss of life in Clayton County from a tree fall, and so I just want to keep all those folks in our thoughts and prayers and that family, and continue to support our men and women in law enforcement, our first responders that are out there on the road, our DOT folks, and a lot of other people. So just keep them in your thoughts and prayers today as the storm thankfully is moving on now. But it is an honor for me to introduce, as I always introduce my wife, the greatest First Lady in the country, Marty Kemp. As you all know, when I first took office in 2019, this was an issue that really Marty had a calling to tackle, and we're very proud of her and a lot of other people that she's worked with, members of the General Assembly, members of the Grace Commission, all of our state agencies that are here today, our really federal, state, local partnerships that we've had tackling this issue, and she has transformed the way our state engages on this issue. And we both realize, our whole family does, that there's been a lot of people in the trenches battling this issue literally for decades, and we are just your voice in helping to move the needle, and thankfully we've done that here, and I'll let her speak to those successes, but I just want to thank her for her leadership, and we're just thankful in the state to have somebody that doesn't run away from tough issues, because this is a tough issue to tackle. It's a tough issue to talk about. It's a tough issue to see in front of you, and it's why we admire so many people that are in this room and many that are not, that are just grinding away every day trying to help folks that have been subjected to this. So I want to thank her and the Grace Commission, our legislative partners, our private sector leaders, our nonprofits especially, for making such great strides in this space, and I look forward to her continued service in this space, and you all as well. And with that, I'll turn it over to the greatest First Lady in the country, Marty Kemp.
Well, thank you so much for that, Governor. I guess it doesn't hurt that we celebrated 30 years of wedding bliss yesterday. So that's he's put up with me for a long time, and so I'm very blessed and grateful for that, and very blessed and grateful for the opportunity to be here and to actually have this role. I want to thank, of course, Shawanda, the commissioner. I'm sorry she was not able to be here in the Department of Juvenile Justice. Allison, I appreciate you being here. Of course, Candace, you've walked this walk with us since day one, and actually, ironically, Candace gave the Grace Commission its name So I thought it was very proper for it to be called Grace's Place. So thank you for that, and I appreciate your support. And of course, the great Georgia Building Authority and all the individuals who helped put this together. They have put up with me. David Goodhead, bless his heart. I'm shocked that he even still answers my call. And Marty and Gerald, but I'm so appreciative of them and their vision and their listening to me and my ideas, and their dedication on fighting this terrible, terrible human trafficking. When we first gathered at this place, gosh, it's been a little while ago. I'm going off script, so don't everybody get nervous. I probably should not do that. But we were walking around looking at it, and I always had the vision to not have it be a cinder block, that it would needed a little bit of warmth and safety and something to make people feel at home because they have been through. And let me tell you, I have heard stories that will keep you up at night. I've met with survivors. Susan Norris has become one of my dearest friends because she has really shown me the light at the end of this tunnel, and unfortunately sent me that horrible book that she wrote, but it's really great. I would encourage all of y'all to read it. That it helped me understand, and I had Brian read it. And it's a tough read, but everybody needs to understand it so that they can learn what to look for in the process. But when we walked around here, I was being a builder's wife and being in the construction business, I was like, surely we could renovate it, or let's talk about tearing it down and building it back up. And I know everybody freaked out because they were like, nobody's budget wants to be messed with. I understand all that. But, it was a conversation that we had, and it ended up being worth that conversation, and that's what we ended up doing so that we could, I really personally, and the team, we have a fantastic team in the governor's office. I mean, they've put up with me, Kristen and Caitlin and Brett, and that they listen to me, and they're so awesome. But I really wanted this to be the role model of the country. I really want people to come see this and, have these facilities in their states. And so this is fabulous. I mean, when I just walked in, it is better than I could have imagined. And it really is great. So I'm proud of all the progress that we have done since 2019, which empowers our law enforcement to pursue and prosecute traffickers and buyers, but more importantly, in making Georgia a national leader in supporting the victims or survivors when they come out. They don't have anything, and we don't want them to have to go back to that life, and even down to clothing. We need to make sure that we take care of them because they are our resource for our state, and we should not leave our children behind because they are our future. So I'm proud to have the Grace Commission members here today with our partners in the General Assembly that we have passed 8 pieces of legislation almost unanimously. There was only one person that's a little confused, but we are helping him understand that these are, I've worked with both sides of the party, both sides of the aisle. And so many of these are significant reforms, shielding minors from prosecution for prostitution, allowing survivors to restrict access to their criminal records, change their names privately, and even pursue civil damages from their abusers and those who profited from their pain. And we've talked to the survivors and the Grace Commission members about what is needed out there. And that's when we listen, and our legislators and our agencies really, just do the common sense and do the right thing. And our legislators have definitely done that as well. So this is why this facility is so important, and so I'm so excited. There will be 24 vulnerable individuals who will receive wraparound services at their time of need. They'll have access to medical care, both physical and mental, educational resources, and more, all in a secure and safe location away from their abusers, that's what they desperately need. So I want to thank the Department of Juvenile Justice for their commitment to this cause and for stepping up to fill this need in our state. In addition to private facilities providing services across the metro area, there are now dozens of beds available for those who need them. To all those here who helped make this day a reality, thank you for not standing by, but for stepping up to ensure those victimized by human trafficking receive the care they need to begin to move on with their lives. We'll be praying for the success of this facility and for the safety of those who pass through it for years and hopefully decades to come. While today is an incredible milestone, as Brian always says, we cannot rest on our laurels. I know it sounds impossible, but our goal is to make sure Georgia's most precious resource, our children, are not sold into modern-day slavery. So I know together we can keep marching towards that ideal and make Georgia a hostile environment for traffickers and buyers and a safe haven for survivors. So thank you again to all those who have made this facility possible. And Hannah, thank you for being here. I know you're working hard out there, and you're making the state of Georgia so proud because you are fighting the good fight and doing God's work, and I appreciate all the prosecutions you have gotten and made history, really, in Georgia, so thank you. So congratulations on this new beginning. Let's keep up the good fight, and God bless. Thank you.
I'm going to jump right in, and I think at this point we're going to be doing a tour, right? Or what's ribbon cutting, of course. This is why I shouldn't have jumped in. So we will follow, I guess, Brett. All right.